date. So fun,
Yeah.
fun stuff. Hi, Wes.
I had to grab some food. Hello, everyone.
Fun.
Are you back in the States, Wes?
I'm back. I got back Thursday.
Okay. Cool.
Recovered from the jet lag and all that jazz.
There's not so much jet lag coming back because of the way the Earth turns. It's going over that there's sometimes some jet lag. But no, coming back was no problem.
Good.
Where,
Yeah, I must be like the inverse of literally everybody because I don't have any issues going east. It hits me like a train when I come back west, though. No idea why.
If you sleep on the plane coming back, that would do it.
I don't, though. That's what's so weird.
Mm.
The only time I did was when I was coming back from Doha, but that was a 16-hour flight. So.
Mhm.
where did you go, Wes? I didn't realize you were out of the country.
Scotland. Went to Scotland for a conference. Yeah. Hang on a second. I'll get my rotary flag just now.
Hello.
Hey, Dr. Wu.
Hello.
This is my first time to use Google Meet, so I've been off and on. Somehow I have two pictures here, so I don't know. Do I need to log off one to close one?
Do you have one for presenting? Is that why?
Huh?
Do you have
Oh,
one?
yeah, I think I probably had two windows open up.
You could always close one, but if you have one that's dedicated for presenting, then you could leave that one open, and that would be fine too. But
Oh, okay. I did not know the trick. I'll open that one up then.
yeah, Google Meet can be a little finicky sometimes.
Okay. Shall we start, or I don't know who is cheering?
Yeah, we'll get started in a minute, Dr. Wu. We kind of chat for a little bit here at the beginning, then we'll have a couple announcements, and then
Okay.
and then we'll pass it over to you. And excited to hear what you have to talk to us about.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. And then last time I did a presentation was before pandemic at a Holy Tree, and then I saw many much older people last time in a Holy Tree. At the club there, and then Wes
Oh, okay.
told me, "Hi, Wes." Wes told me that this is a much younger group, and indeed, you guys are so young.
Smarter, better looking, more everything. Just more everything, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for coming here. So when I do presentation, basically, you cannot see me anymore. You are going to see the screen, right?
I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
We'll still be able to see you. The main portion is where we'll see your screen and what you share. You may have trouble seeing us, but we will still be able to see you.
Oh, okay. So everybody is comfortable. How many do we have? Do we need to introduce your background, or let me introduce myself. I don't want to chair this whole thing, but then I would like to know each of you.
Yeah.
Should I start myself? Okay, I am Hui Wu. I'm the chair and the English professor at the UT Thailand. I'm chairing the Department of Literature and Languages, which includes English, Spanish, philosophy, religion, Asian studies, and so we also offer Spanish, French, and Chinese.
Wow.
Yeah. So you guys want to start so I can know you?
Yeah. So I'm Michael. I'm the current president of the club. I grew up near Tyler. I grew up in Jacksonville, and now live in the Houston suburbs kind of area. I kind of work in the medical and dental sales space, and kind of an entrepreneur to start businesses and do different things like that. So that's a little bit about what I do, and one of y'all want to jump in?
Sure, I'll jump in. I am Sarah Jenkins. I am the charter president of our club. Currently the immediate past president. So I was president until July of this year when Michael took over. And I helped get the club organized and kicked off originally when we chartered in 2020. I am originally from White Oak, grew up there, and then lived in the Dallas area for most of the last decade. And then about a year and a half ago, moved up to the Charlotte, North Carolina area, which is where I am now. So I am dialed in from the East Coast. I'm very glad to have you here with us today.
Thank you.
See, I'm Clayton. I live in Houston. I work for an investment firm, and I'm about to start law school down here. So I'm just pretty busy with a lot of school and a lot of work.
Right.
I can go next. My name is Elizabeth Puanka. I am currently unwrapping boxes for one of our service projects. We have supported 3 angels from the Bryan College Station Angel Tree. So I am collecting all of the items back here behind me. But I live and work in Bryan College Station. I am the Associate Director for Assessment in the Office of Institutional Effectiveness and Evaluation at A&M. Basically, I do the SACS COC assessment stuff. And I know since you're in higher education, you probably at least know what some of that is. So that's my role in this club. I'm the membership chair. And yeah, that's what I do.
Thank you.
We've also got MFA dropped a message in the chat. Her camera and mic aren't working, but you can see her intro there.
Okay.
If anyone else wants to introduce themselves before it, or I'm
Oh,
going to start calling names.
I'm Dana Lip. I live and work in Dallas. I'm a lawyer here. I just joined this club earlier this year. I was introduced to it by Wes Volberding, and I'm very happy to be here tonight and looking forward to your presentation.
Hi. Okay. And then how many? Oh, we have. Okay, so it seems this is not a Tyler Rotary Club. It's like a Texas something. Yeah, this is great. I'm glad to know the your background. So and then I can introduce UT Tyler to you. I know that Elizabeth is an Aggie. My daughter is an Aggie. My son-in-law is an Aggie. But then I'm not. I'm a horned frog. So I'm from Texas. All right. Let me do the see if I can do the presentation.
So we'll have I have one announcement for our team real quick, and then we'll pass it to y'all. Not a ton of announcements today. There's one in specific that I wanted to present here, and I didn't realize we were going to have Madeline here too, so she'll definitely be able to chime in on that. But she sent out an email about a week ago, and I think you should have gotten this email. If you haven't, I'm going to put this on the screen real quick and show you guys a couple of things so we can make this a little bit easier for you. Dang, it's gotten far back there, Madeline. Sorry. And we can forward this. If anybody didn't receive this email, we can forward this on. But we are, getting close to needing to wrap up our service project for this quarter, which is the Angel Tree. We've got we got 3 people that we have adopted for this. And what Elizabeth is doing back there is inventorying all the gifts and stuff that's coming in, and she's updating a spreadsheet. So y'all, please, if you can, we're getting close to the deadline so they can drop off, but everybody can get on Amazon and put Elizabeth's address in here, and we'll get to her before the 13th. And then if you do purchase something, this spreadsheet is attached in there. Each of our adopted children are listed out here at the bottom, and kind of sizes, what they like, things like that, and then items that are purchased already. So please, if you do purchase something, make sure you put that on that spreadsheet so that we don't have any, double purchases or anything like that. But let's, try to work on this so we can make sure these kids have a special Christmas. So that was really the main thing I wanted to see. If you guys didn't get that email for some reason, drop your email in the chat and we can forward that along. And Madeline's got everything lined out, very, very easy to see and read and fill out and follow instructions on that. So please feel free to drop your email if you didn't get that and you want to see that. All right. So
I'll just add, Elizabeth replied to that email as well with her Venmo information. So if you're at a spot where you want to give money to this, but you don't want to necessarily buy something and ship it, you can, $5 can make a difference. Like, even if you just send $5 over to her, Elizabeth and I are going to get together this weekend and sort of inventory everything and use whatever money we may get donated to us to fill in any holes. So if you're not at a point where you can ship something, definitely, like I said, $5 can make all the difference. So that's definitely an option as well. But by the looks on what's going on in the chat and behind Elizabeth, our angels are going to be very well taken care of. So I'm not worried.
Awesome. And to add to what Wes just dropped in the chat, Christy, thank you again for joining our meeting and being involved in this service project. We really appreciate it, and we'd love to have you as a member of our club as well. So thanks for being here. All right, so unless we have any other announcements from anybody else on the team, I think we're good to go. So, Dr. Wu, we heard a little bit about you, but Wes, I'd like to see if you could possibly introduction. I'd love to hear how you guys met. Always interesting stories from the guy who talks to everybody. So,
thank you so much.
Well, let me explain. I've got her bio. Let me just summarize. She's smart. She's well educated. She's been all over the world. She has a PhD in English, I believe. Isn't that right? English. Yes. But the two things that I want you to take away with from Dr. Wu's presentation are these. Number one, most of you on this call are in the middle of your career. You're building your career, and you're swimming in the global economy, which is a rough sea. And many of you have children, or you will have children, and you want them to succeed in the rough seas of the global economy. So you need to know that in order to succeed, one has to have skills valued by the global economy, and that includes technical skills such as mathematics, science, medicine, at one end of the spectrum. But at the other end of the spectrum are the humanities, the ability to communicate in multiple languages, the ability to manage goods and services, develop, transfer worldwide, and manage global organizations. That's where the humanities come into play. So having both skills or one or the other sets of skills is important, and she's going to talk about the humanities. The second thing I want you to take away is the importance of someone who her life history. She is from the People's Republic of China. She's fluent in Mandarin, her first language. She was the teacher of my daughter at UT Tyler in her master's program. She's well recognized in Tyler and a gifted person who has lived and traveled internationally. And if you think that learning English and teaching English in the United States is difficult, imagine that you had to go to law school in Beijing and study Mandarin to do it, or another specialized skill. It would be intensely difficult, requiring everything you've got. But she's done this, and this is what, in the global economy, the global world, one must do. And so give her your full attention and a warm Rotary welcome for Dr. Hui Wu. Dr. Wu.
Thank you. Now, starting presenting. I am trying to find the. Okay, now I got it. I've got it. Okay,
We can see your
would
screen.
like.
So we're good.
Can you see the screen? Which one
Yes,
can
ma'am.
you see?
What the humanities can do for the global economy.
Yes, great. And then I'm moving to the second. I know which one can you see now. I have two screens in my office. Okay, I would like to talk about, because English sometimes to a lot of people is like useless. If you wanted to be a lawyer, you want to study English. But then if you want to have an immediate job, you don't want the English. You want to do some more like a professional school. And then like, for example, communication actually developed from English major. The people think that the communication is more useful than English, although they think that the English majors have lots of knowledge, they write well, but they cannot pin down what exactly they can do, you know. And then in terms of philosophy, same thing. So, and then indeed, in the very beginning of higher education, English, philosophy, rhetoric, speech, well, actually tended to be, what do we say, like for rich people. They have leisure time to read. But then educated people in the early times were all rich people, rich people's kids. But then in the 50s, and then after the GI Bill passed, it was when the college education started to be more professionalized in order to meet economic growth. But the humanities for a long time, like people in it, did not realize what they could do actually on the job market for the students. So we created this minor in language and technology for English majors. And now if you search on the job market, you can see tons of jobs like this, like a content specialist, writing and design specialist, content manager. So this type of jobs, they are not targeting at a specific major. Like, for example, you do marketing. But then if you cannot write well, you do not know the pathos of your audience. Mike knows this, right? You are a marketing specialist. You know, how can you reach out, particularly now in the internet, or we'll say information age? How can you write on the website so well, and then you can judge the quality of your website? How can you do it? That's an English job. So for me personally, and then in the field, I just believe the digital market is English market nowadays. Okay, and then that's what I'm saying. There is no specific workforce supply line for this rapid growing job market, the digital one. And now Amazon gave you UX and UI. What does that mean? It means user-friendly, user interaction, user interaction, exchange. What does that mean? It means that you need to analyze your audience. That's exactly what English and the writing do for our students. So let's look at the English skills. We know that we read Shakespeare. We read a lot of novels, but then people think that these novels are only entertaining. No, reading novels in the past by past writers, actually you are studying history. You not only study history, the characters, the plot. That was the initial traditional way of looking at English and literature. Literature enables you to understand people, not only people, but what happened during that period. For example, what transportation was being used, how people transported themselves, what money has been changed, what are the living conditions of those people. And then you may ask the question, but then what does that to do, have anything to do with the current? And then we'll understand, because when we look at the past, we'll understand which part of the social involvement or evolution is important, so we can foresee the future. Okay. And then if I give you another some examples later, you'll understand what I'm saying, like including language, all these things. So English majors, a lot of them do literary analysis. So this type of activities cultivate a habit of data digging, organization, and presentation in the written world. And literary analysis enhances critical reading and thinking and requires the writer to think social cultural problems that an individual faces nationally and globally. Literary analysis requires the writer to re-envision these social issues and present his or her argument in a clear, deliberate manner. Analyzing text is literally analyze data. That's why we have the English majors are now trained to analyze data in our program. And then so there are matching skills for data analytics, data digging, merging, cleansing, reorganization, and the presentation charts is similar to literary analysis that reveals meanings as well as reorganizes and presents textual data, making for when you look at data, data is a mess. But when you look at the literary text, like a story, you want to present your analysis, is actually you are generating data, you are presenting data from that text. So we are making explicit and clear and full what has been inexplicit, shapeless, and indirect, similar to literary analysis. It's very similar. Data analysis requires familiarity with software in the industry and storytelling. And that's very important. When you write a report, when you write analysis, when you examine this, you can tell story by looking at the data. So the minor in language and technology addresses this learning outcome. So we create this minor in language and technology to bridge literature with technology. That's the goal. So what is our market? In Texas so far, there is no similar concentrated program in Texas or in the nation actually. Many English departments offer technical professional writing majors, minors, or courses, but they do not require learning industry standard software for data cleansing, analysis, visualization, and reporting. So our minor does this. So you can look at the courses, like the 4 required courses, World and Technology. This introduces students to writing on the website, create a website, do podcast, all this technical part of it. But then they have to write a story. They have to do research and present their project. And then there is reading and writing about data. So the classes begins with a literary story and apply the story to extend the story analysis to data analytics. And there is public writing with technology. So if you guys want somebody to build a website for you, this course will require students to work for a company or a small business to offer the support. The last one is tech and humanities. This course is a survey course to show how technology evolves in writing and in writing. Oh, I lost my track of my my PowerPoint here. Anyway, I think I can move forward. Now I can see the screen and myself. Okay, so we are trying to do this. This is like innovative enough that we have attracted national attention at MLA. Everybody knows MLA when you were in high school. That's Modern Language Association. So we have been presenting this project. Uh-oh, what happened? Oh. Ah, so sorry. Where am I? No.
You may need to hit Alt Tab until you get back to your PowerPoint
You
window.
what? The tab
Alt and then Tab on your keyboard.
here. Oh, to what? Well, and then I silence myself. No. Oh.
No, that should help you switch back to your PowerPoint window.
Yeah.
You won't be able to see us anymore, but
I can see myself and everybody, but then I don't know how to move my presentation.
yeah, you'll have to go back into PowerPoint for that. So either Alt Tab or down at the bottom of your screen, switch to the PowerPoint window again.
Oh, here? Chat with everybody? You are presenting.
It won't be in the Google Meet window. It'll be down at the very bottom of your screen if you're on Windows, or you may need to hover down there if you're on a Mac.
Uh-oh, I am back to the, I was asked to stop presenting. Oh gosh, hate it. Okay, I'm back. So where should I go? Activities. Oh, I'm so awkward.
That's all right.
Okay. I want to go to this screen. You can see the screen, right? Okay.
Yeah, we can still see your presentation.
Okay, but then I cannot get back to my my PowerPoint. Oh, I can.
There we go. Now we can see it moving.
Now you can see. Can you see
Perfect.
big screen or tiny screen? You probably can see the tiny screen, right?
No, we can see it the same size as before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so the minor will encourage students to explore issues that are important to their communities. So this will be their assignments in each class. And then the courses will be student-centered learning spaces where each person can explore trends or ideas that they encounter in their daily lives beyond the classroom. And then the major goal is to treat the university as a lab space that can help us diagnose and solve problems that affect Texans. So let me show you student projects. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can see students are doing this presentation. Like they have built a website. They will do in the main page of the age of people on death row. This is about death row in Texas. So you can see the charts, and they have reasons, and they have timeline, and then last time. So they have to do lots of projects in order to create this project. But then we do it depends on faculty's specialty. We do very limited coding, but we do teach students Tableau, R, and these data and analytic platforms, digital platforms. Yeah. So, and then I want to move on to foreign language and technology. And then we talked about the humanities. Basically, humanities teach you how to think, how to analyze data, how to analyze texts, you know. So this is just an introduction to what we changed. Now we have created a concentration in rhetoric, digital rhetoric and multimodal design. Basically, we enhance more research intensive courses. We offer these courses to graduate students. We found out that some undergraduates, when they graduate with an English degree, if they don't want to be a teacher, they kind of like feel lost and figure out the next step. So say, hey, maybe you can continue to study, and with these skills, you can have your own company, or be an independent contractor, or you can work for a company. And there are jobs are just everywhere, with these skills. So we're looking at at UT Tyler and in most other universities, English majors must reach the intermediate level, intermediate level of a foreign language before graduation. So at UT Tyler, we offer Spanish, French, and Chinese. So and then Chinese was requested by community, computer science department, because Chinese and Russian languages and Persian actually are three critical languages that would affect cyber and national security. For example, yesterday's news, and I was reading news yesterday. It was a lot, some news that people, Americans usually don't pay attention to. But then I keep an eye on this. We all know there is a phone company in China that is called Huawei. Uh, the phones produced by Huawei for some time were direct competitor to iPhone and Samsung's phone. They use Android. However, there is sanction going on because the company sold their technology to Iran, which was part of the sanction of the United States and the other Western countries. So now Huawei did not have the critical components for their phones. So they are developing their own technology. But in order for them, for the company to be secure, they now write programming comments in Chinese. Like, for example, when you write the comments, the coding, you'll say backspace, and then it would be 回车 in Chinese. So only when you know the Chinese language can you figure out how can you basically hack them. So if you only know English and the the digits, it's not enough. So this will happen and will continue to happen. There will be some competition in language, and then generate tons of data for you to study, for you to present. That's why we created this minor to go along with Spanish, with English for our department. But that is a trend. How well can we find the faculty members to teach this? Because some universities have their vision. They are training PhDs in this field, in multimodal design, reading and writing about data. It's kind of like they are built. There is a program in Central Florida, a PhD program that is called Text and Technology, and the University of Pittsburgh is offering this type of classes for people to be faculty members. So, and then the first time, that was 5 years ago when we were hiring the first faculty member for the job. We're the first in the nation. So that was 5 years ago. I had this vision, and 2 years before the 5 years, the 5th year that we hired him. And then we had very limited choices. We had probably about, at most 20, with some whose specialties were not closely aligned with the job. But then the second time that we were recruiting, that was 2 years ago, and then the candidate pool tripled, and now we are recruiting again. We're trying to find out that one left. The one we recruited the second time left, the second one. And now we need to fill this position for the fall. So I'm looking at the candidates and then hope that we can have larger pool. And then we have also another position, which is a literature position. But then we also ask for background in digital studies. You know how many applications we got for that position? 150 applications for one job. So we know the trend, you know. So English is very different nowadays. It's happening. So a lot of things are happening. And then students actually want to more career-oriented college rather than general education college. So, and that was years ago. And then we created this minor to meet their needs, you know. And then anyway, so that's the end of my presentation. So I would like to take questions. And then there is a question. Coding was happening in other languages. So cool. Elizabeth said that now I work with data all the time of all kinds, but quantitative and hard is true. Yes. And then a lot of times, you know, the other majors, I have seen how the courses are taught and then the curriculum. The other majors do not start with the intensive reading and writing, but then English majors do, and the philosophy majors do. I mean, the first class you take is reading and writing, and then see how you write. You know, another thing is that faculty job hunt is literally terrifying. Yeah, it's true. I'm glad I have a job nowadays. Yeah. There is a question. How many universities require this and how many more will follow suit? I do not know. The foreign language requirement has been in place for over 150 years. But then some universities have, in the, I would say, initially history, arts, music, English, all require a foreign language. But then recently in Texas, and then it was a shock to me that you can get a Bachelor of Science in history. And sometimes history does not offer require foreign language. And then I visited another campus. Well, their English major did not require a foreign language, but I still believe foreign language is important for the well-rounded humanities education. Me, myself, I'm studying French now. I think it's very interesting.
Yeah, and I'll just kind of expand on what I put in the chat. I know, at least here at A&M, and I think this is also true at that other school in Austin that us Aggies don't talk about all that often, that the bachelor's of arts degrees require a foreign language. The bachelor's of science do not. But one of the things that we're seeing kind of in the trend to improve graduation rates is an increase in the number of bachelor's of science degrees in some of the more interdisciplinary leaning, traditionally more humanities type fields. So we just added a BS in Women and Gender Studies here at A&M. We've added a BS in, I'm trying to remember what some of the other ones were. We've always had kind of BA, BS in the social sciences, so political science, sociology, psychology, that sort of thing. But the BSs are becoming more popular because the foreign language requirement has discouraged some students from pursuing those degree programs, and they want to increase our four-year graduation rates. So the BS creates a faster pathway.
Right. And then a lot of PhD programs still require one language minimum. Some of them require 2 foreign languages. Yeah. Wes asked me, do you teach the Mandarin classes? I did once, but I was not good at it. It was not my field. It was very hard to teach Chinese. Like I can speak, I can give like little tricks, like from a English teaching point of view. But then when I was teaching, it was I was a substitute during that period. It was hard because I could not explain the sentence structure that well, although I can explain how the sentences come together in comparison with English, but because my research field is critical translation. So I do like translate English from translate the Chinese to English all the time. So I could know the structure, but I'm not good at teaching Chinese. I'm very good at teaching writing though. All my students, they could start with B minus, and they all got this, even if they got an A in high school, because the requirement in that class is so high. But then they could rewrite and then redo as long as they want to work on it. They all could have an A from my class. But then by the third paper, they were so good. I did not have to like read each sentence, because by that point they were. I'm so targeted on like each of them. You got to do this. It was very hard work in the first half of the class, but later on they can just write very well, and I'm very proud of them. Even at when I teach graduate level classes, I they still learn a lot of writing from me, from writing papers. Yeah. Yeah, William and Mary require foreign language for masters, though. You are true. And then we used to as well. Our master's program used to require a foreign language. But then, like Elizabeth said, the competition is so. If you want to keep your enrollment and your quality, and then you have to pay attention to the key areas like writing and then reading and research skills, you know. Yeah, Elizabeth is right. The core curriculum is constant on being attacked from all directions. Why should I take this useless class? It's not related to my major, but then you receive college education. You should be a well-rounded, well-educated person, not only pursue. Oh, somebody.
I'm sorry, I just couldn't pass it up. Steely Dan, 1975, Dr. Wu.
Oh, really?
I'm probably the only one on this phone this call that knows Dr. Wu and Steely Dan.
But then it's not to me. It must be to a different one, right?
One might think so.
75. Thank you. Yeah. But then Wes has been paying attention to humanities education for a long time. And that's how we met each other to talk about the foreign language global market. And now it's so closely related. This pandemic, we can see how the world is interconnected. How can we depart from what we have already created? I don't know. Investments, literally, your social security is tied to the global market, supply chains, literally. I'm not kidding. Sometimes when I think of this, I feel scared. I don't know. I don't know how younger people are thinking about this, you know.
I mean, in terms of Social Security, I just assume I'm not getting any.
No,
That's
it's
my
it's not the
assumption at this
money, it's
point.
how we are tied with other countries. The United States literally helped China to rise as a major power, and how this major power, the other power, can be responsible for global um, benefits and other things. I'm not sure, particularly under the current president. To me, the current situation in China is very similar to the beginning of Cultural Revolution, which I have gone through as a kid. So it's very dangerous. I hope that I don't know. And then Russia is another problem when you talk global. Yeah. You have any questions? Any other questions about this? I mean, you guys have done your thing. You have established yourself. So how do you feel about the college education?
I can say, I'll answer that in a void here, is I was very fortunate to have very good high school teachers, and I learned how to write. And I took it for granted, and that has been a valuable skill set at every stage of my career and in my current occupation. I write for a living. I have to communicate effectively in writing, and it's not easy. So, and briefly, I think I've bored my fellow Rotarians here with the story before, but we have 5 children. We had to raise them to be competitive in the global economy, and my wife and I are just ordinary folks. How do we do that? So we sent them to other countries so that on their own, just circumstances would force them to learn other languages and cultural mores and develop the skill sets that they would need to be competitive and valuable in the global economy. So some would acquire technical skills, like my son, who's an engineer. Others would acquire language and social skills, like my daughter, who's a teacher in South Korea, or my other daughter is an artist in Berlin. So these things are quite valuable and underappreciated. So thank you, Dr. Wu, for everything. I really, really appreciate it. It was a great presentation. I knew it would be.
Thank you. You guys are very vibrant group. How many people are in this Rotary Club? How did you start the new one, Wes? Did you start it or?
It wasn't me. I had nothing to do with it. It was Sarah Jenkins and her vision. Sarah Jenkins saw the need, and I presume she may have seen the same. Well, let her speak for herself. Sarah, why did you start this club and how?
Yeah, so there were a lot of reasons that we started the club. This was really born out of a Rotary Youth program called RYLA, Rotary Youth Leadership Awards. Most of our charter members attended that program as students in high school. And following that, a lot of us joined the staff and became facilitators of the camp. And some of us are on the board of the camp now. And so within the last few years, several of us had said, more of us should be in Rotary, but it's just really not accessible for a lot of our staff and a lot of the people who have kind of grown up in this program. So we figured out how to make that work. Rotary offers e-clubs all around the world. So that was a format that we knew could work for us since we were all spread out in different areas. It would give us the ability to kind of carry on what we learn in RILA, to be servant leaders, to work within our communities, and carry that throughout the year, not just the few weekends that we're at camp at RILA. And it's just been a really great opportunity for us to continue to connect a few times a month. And as you can do service projects like the Angel Tree, we've done some blood drives and book drives and lots of other service projects. So it's just born out of that, but has become a really great community service project that has spread all across the country. We have members, in multiple time zones, and hopefully one day we'll have some members around the world as well.
Yeah, cool. I think this is cool. How many members do you have now?
I want to say around 22, 23.
Not bad. Yeah.
We're in the 19 to 21 range.
What is the goal? Like in 5 years, what type of achievements you would like to see that you guys can reach?
Michael, I'll let you speak to that a bit.
Yeah. It's kind of a cool spot that we're in right now, but a difficult spot that we're in. And I say that because, we're such a young club that we are having to create the structures and learn the things that typically are established when you join a Rotary Club. So, that can be kind of the challenges that we go through. But the positive side is that because we are young and I say young, not referencing our age, but young as in this club's only a year and a half or two old, that can be an advantage for us too, because that means that we can kind of really pick the direction of where this thing's going to go and plan that 5 years out. It's actually a conversation I had last night with Sarah about our long-term plan. Right now we're, trying to boost membership and get, involved in certain service projects. But I think the question that we've thrown around this year is, how can we tie ourselves to an organization or make an impact on a group, year over year? And so we've laid out a little bit of a roadmap for 5 years. But to be honest, Dr. Wu, I'm glad you asked that question, because that makes me think a little more past the 6 months or the 1 year that we're looking at now, to really look at our vision for the 5 years down the road, and what kind of involvement we're going to have with our communities and what that direction is going to look like. It's definitely something that we need to put a little more thought into, not just on that 6 month, 1 year plan, but also on that 5 year plan. So I appreciate you bringing that up. It's something that we're navigating, and we hope to continue to be involved in these projects that we're in now, but also find a way to make a larger impact. And we've had some awesome opportunities over the past year or two, even with partnering with clubs internationally that Wes has connected us with, because he's done some international work through Rotary. So we've had the opportunity to have a co-hosted meeting with a club in Mexico City. Wes is knocking on every Rotary Club door across the world and collecting those banners, and we're learning from him as a guy who has been experienced in this sector. So we love having kind of a hybrid group of people, where we've got some people with the guidance and the knowledge, and we've got some people with the young energy that want to get after it and accomplish things. And Wes is the same way on the energy side too. I didn't mean to say he wasn't the energy guy, but
yeah, I'm running the Dallas Marathon Sunday, so
yeah,
wish I could back.
exactly.
Might not be back.
Yeah, Wes is very experienced. He has owned his business, being in practice law for such a long time. He really can provide a lot of insight. What I'm asking is that how do you want to expand? Also, how do you want to expand your network? For example, if you want to think of global, which country do you want to reach first, and then what type of cultural contextual preparation that you guys need to do. So I'll talk to Wes and then I'll see if I want to join you guys.
I was going to say your direction for guidance in that arena would be.
No, I don't know. I'm an I think that the background, my international background, and then I established an institute, a language institute before, funded by the Department of Education before I came to UT Tyler. What I have is some like a really global insight, and then also I'm an avid reader of tons of stuff, like and most of the books like I read, during my not working time, not reading, and not literature, not fiction. I don't read contemporary fiction unless it's past fiction, like classics. Because, like I said, I read fiction as history. I look at how people live, what is the living conditions. Like, for example, if you read, Jane Austen, like almost, I don't know, everybody probably reads that. A lot of the people enjoy Jane Austen, but Jane Austen is fantastic in using the language, the instinct as a woman. However, she can only depict all that small group. But then she also present the economic challenges that women face during that period. If you don't get married, you either stay with your brother or you ended up on the street. And then you look at the Victorian period, you either are a rich person with mansion, or you are a doctor, you are a professor, you are a priest. Other than that, other people, they are living on the streets. How these poor women supported themselves, they either live with their daddy who worked and a lot of other jobs, people simply the huge gap between rich people and poor people, which is not a good thing because the society is not stable. That's why United States, I've been studying like financial history like crazy. That's why I said I have different interest. The United States used to be the model for democracy, for economy, for equality. And now we don't have equality in economy anyway. And then we have already got classes. I'm not saying that this is not a bad thing, but how can we balance this and then really create a solid middle class as before? This is a good question for each of us. And then each of us has responsibility to really analyze the situation, do what we can do for the society, and then at the same time, enhance our own competitive edge as well, and our kids. A good society should not be people against each other. That's China. Direct against each other in China. Like when I took my daughter to China, that when she was in no, she just graduated from Texas A&M. I said, now you have time, and then during this break before you start working, we should visit China. And then she was listening to my friends talking to each other. I mean, my friends, they are actually all of them, I should say, upper middle class. But then what they care about was something that my daughter said. Well, these people, it seems that everybody is trying to get the best out of others. Like before the stock market crashes, you're actually trying to rip other people so that you can get rich. that's not the social environment or economical environment we want for our kids, for ourselves, you know. Yeah, I was reading a book about, I forgot the title of the book. That was about Finland. You know, what is the title? I forgot the title, but it is talking about how the Scandinavia countries learned from the United States, how they improve the living conditions for the people, you know, and now we call it socialism. So we don't like it, you know. I'm not, the way does not refer to me, you know. Yeah.
Dr. Wu, I would be heartbroken if you didn't join us. You're saying great stuff. But if you know somebody who would be interested in a Rotary, you know, tell them to hop on our
Yeah.
club.
Yeah, well, I will introduce Wes probably to other people. Really ask me. I think you guys are fantastic. I mean, this is like this, although it's a smaller audience, and then we are in a remote situation, but I feel that the connection of people and me to you is kind of like tighter or closer. I don't know, but Wes, thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Hey, before we go as a group, I wanted to tell you, I went to Rotary Club last Tuesday in Scotland, in Edinburgh. So there's our flag. This is the one from England, Sale, England, where I went last month. So I've got 2 flags now. I hold the record. So I'm challenging you guys, go get some flags and spread the good news. We need our own flag. It was embarrassing, again, not having a flag. So we have to overcome that.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you all for joining today. Dr. Wu, thank you so much for being with us. We really enjoyed the time getting to hear a little bit from you and also just getting to hang out and chat with you. I feel like we could probably chat for another several hours, but some of these people, especially our East Coast people, want to get to bed. But so we're going to kind of wrap things up here. I went ahead and pasted that 4-way test in the chat there. So Dr. Wu, we do our 4-way test at the end. I'm sure you've heard it before if you went to a Rotary Club in Tyler a couple years ago, but we'll go ahead and get in this. So if everybody wants to come off mute here. All right. So the 4-way test, things that we think, say, and do. Number 1.
Is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
Number 2.
Is it
Is
fair
it
to all?
fair
to all concerned?
Number 3.
Will it
Will
build
it
build goodwill and
goodwill
better
and
friendship?
friendships?
And 4.
will it be
Will it be
beneficial
beneficial to
to
all
To all concerned.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for being here. We will see you in 2 weeks. We will be having our kind of social Christmas kind of meeting, so it's going to be a little more relaxed. Invite anybody who wants to join and hang out with us for that meeting. We'll of course send out an invite for that. And reminder, right now, again on the Angel Tree stuff, deadline is coming up on the 11th that they need those by, so they can go and make that delivery. So log into your Amazon, put Elizabeth's address in, Venmo, whatever y'all are able to do. It's a very special. That would be amazing. But thank you all for being here. Spreadsheet's attached in there in that chat, and y'all have a great evening.
Thank you, Dr. Wu.
Thank
you.
you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you
Y'all
so
have a
much.
good night.
Thank you. You are such a nice group.
Bye, Jen.
Bye. Good evening.
You too. Thanks.
Bye, Jen.
Bye.